You're watching the first News Hour debate on Times Now Super Prime Time.
Now, I just want to start by saying that over the last 24 hours, so many facts have emerged which make it quite clear that this is not an odd instance of American justice being implemented in a perverse manner, or rather, should I say, injustice in a perverse manner. This is a gigantic American conspiracy in which several layers of American authorities and government have been involved in the deliberate and knowing persecution of an Indian diplomat who actually is a victim rather than an accused. I wonder why. Well, joining us tonight is, we've got different points of view. Kanwal Sibal, former Foreign Secretary, and C Singh, former Secretary, Ministry of External Affairs. Gentlemen, thank you for joining us. Sheshadri Chari heads the Foreign Affairs Cell of the BJP. Pavan Verma is a former diplomat, now active in politics, but till recently a senior serving diplomat. Mr. Verma, welcome. We have with us from Seattle, Tahmina Watson. She's a legal expert on immigration. She's joining us from Seattle in the United States. My first question is to Ray Locker, who's the national security editor of the USA Today. Mr. Locker, if you've been following this case, why do you think so many American officials, and there we have Sarosh Zaiwalla, who's a senior partner of Zaiwalla Co Solicitors. He's actually blaming the Indian government and the Indian reaction to this. Mr. Zaiwalla, welcome. First question to you, Ray Locker. Why have the American officials joined in such a great conspiracy to humiliate an Indian diplomat in the way this has happened? I mean, this cannot be a mistake. There has to be a well thought out conspiracy behind this. Why was this allowed to happen?
I really don't think it's a conspiracy before the arrest happened. I think what's happened is, and as a journalist, I can't offer an opinion on the quality of the work that's been done, but I will say this, it's tremendously embarrassing. And I think often when you have an embarrassing situation in which law enforcement or any other agency has committed a mistake, they circle the wagons, they try to defend themselves and offer a variety of explanations for why they did what they did. But clearly, when you look at the facts of the case, everybody knew that she was an Indian diplomat in the United States. That was known before the arrest was made. And what I don't understand is why the Marshal Service, the State Department, didn't have a special procedure for her and take her to a place where she was not treated like a normal criminal. Because
no, Mr. Locker,
we see what's happening.
Locker, with respect, Mr. Locker, what you are doing is you are trying to say that this was just the handling of this case towards the end by the marshals was wrong. I would respectfully, completely and totally disagree with you, and I'll tell you why, Mr. Locker. We can engage in this debate. Okay. I've been saying this since yesterday, and tonight it is proven that on 7 or 8 occasions since June, at the official levels, the Indian government, the officials, the embassy, the government of India, the foreign ministry of India have all been filing reports against the maid on behalf of the diplomat. Not one of them gets a single one-word, one-sentence response from your police or your government authorities. So the question is not how she was treated.
Well, that's a terrible situation.
Pardon me?
If that's happened, that's a terrible situation.
No, but it has happened.
The fact is, the stakes between the United States and India are high.
No, that's why I'm saying it's a conspiracy.
Well, I wouldn't go so far as to call it a conspiracy, but I would say this. Well, the relationship between the United States and India is one that's valuable. And for this to have happened, it's quite inexcusable. Well, and I can't defend it.
No, I understand, but I think we need to talk about the conspiracy angle. Yes, Tahmina, were you wanting to come in? Yes, you were saying something.
I wanted to sort of perhaps give a background explanation of what may have happened in the investigation. I obviously am not involved in the case and I don't know anything about the investigation, but from a legal standpoint, my guess is the following steps would have happened. For the maid to have ensured to get a visa in the first place, the diplomat, and any diplomat, would have to provide an employment letter to the embassy. The embassy has a duty to follow the law before issuing a visa. The requirements of the law is that the employment contract should specify what the job duties are, what the hours are.
Tahmina, we know all of that. We know all of that. Now let's apply some common sense to this, and the question is this: she goes missing, okay? She goes missing, and by the way, she has gone for a visa interview, and she knows what she has to be paid. right? But we're not getting into that. She goes missing. After she goes missing, she tries to blackmail the diplomat. And she goes and reaches out to a lawyer. The lawyer then makes a mysterious call.
Arnab, I have to come in here again.
No. Well, this is the fact. Let me complete. Tahmina. She asks a lawyer to call the diplomat, and the lawyer refuses to identify herself but mysteriously goes into this blackmail mode and says, I will offer a settlement which includes a huge amount of money, and you have to help us get permanent residence in the United States of America. So the diplomat, therefore it is proven, is the victim of blackmail.
Is exploiting the law, I don't know.
But it is a fact. How can you may not know, but the American authorities ought to know. They were told about it.
What they are going by is a complaint. My guess is they're going by the complaint.
No, you see. No. 1 second. Here we get into sticky territory again, Tahmina. Here. Now what happens is, listen. On the 1st of July, and I want to get in Sarosh on this because Sarosh, I think I have a release from you, which I think is extremely unfair on this diplomat.
Yeah. Can I?
No, 1 sec. Sarosh, let me tell you this. On the 1st of July, on the 5th of July, the Deputy Consul General registers a complaint with the New York Police Department for a crime of aggravated harassment against her. Zero action is taken by the New York Police Department, by which time it is clear that the American authorities have decided to make an example of the diplomat. I don't know why. I hope it's not racism, but I can't rule it out, Sarosh.
Can I just give you my answer? I think that the whole controversy is blown up. Can I just say this? The whole controversy, in my view, as a fellow Indian, I say that, living abroad, is blown up out of all proportion. What has happened is that there has been, I don't know all the facts, but I don't see any reason why an Indian diplomat should not abide by the rule of law principle and abide by the law. Now, if the New York police has made a mistake, then she might have a claim for damages against them. But in today's modern world, where everybody is equal, the power of the individual is as much as the power of the state. But I don't see why this big fuss about the diplomacy.
No, it's not. There's no big fuss. I saw this. I saw this release of yours, and may I say so with the utmost of respect to you, Sarosh. I think you say here, and I'll read out what you say. You say the loud adverse reaction in India to the arrest of Devyani, who is India's Consul General, she's Deputy Consul General, by the way, in New York, is ill-conceived. In today's changing world, there is no reason diplomats in India or from any other country should not act in accordance with the local laws of the host country. You go on to say, since the Vienna Convention regarding diplomatic immunity was agreed, the world has changed, etc., etc. But the terrible part where you add, which I take severe objection to, Sarosh, is where you say the Indian mindset of servant culture needs to change alongside the changing world.
Very important.
Really? No. Why do you call it an Indian mindset? What about the American mindset? What about the American mindset?
Let me tell you this, that living in the West, I do... there is an anti-slavery feeling all over the world now, at least in the Western culture. And this servant culture, there is no reason why we should not change.
First of all, she's not a slave. But she's not a slave. She goes...
No, she's a servant.
She goes... 1 minute. She goes on an agreement and you expect her to be paid more than what the diplomat gets. She works for 7 months. As a lawyer, you should ask yourself, why did she not raise the issue in 7 months? When she disappears, she approaches a lawyer and then blackmails the diplomat saying, give me money and help me become a permanent resident of the United States of America. When she went to the US, tell me, Sarosh, did she say that part of my service conditions is that you have to make me a resident of the United States of America? This is a classical case, Sarosh, of a domestic help who's trying to exploit the situation, blackmail her employer, run away, run away, and then blackmail the employer into giving them a lot of money.
Arnab, I must come in here. There are always...
Yeah, but then the answer to that, can I say...
No, yes,
the answer to that is that we must take action against the girl who has done that.
No, but it wasn't done, right?
Government cannot be blamed for that.
So I go into this point. So I'm glad I have got all of you on the same page. You have all agreed today that therefore action should be taken against the girl. I want to read out here. We requested help from the US Embassy in this matter. The Foreign Minister of India says the US Embassy could not or did not provide any feedback. The husband of the lady diplomat files a report with the NYPD for theft of cash, BlackBerry phone, 2 SIM cards, Metro card, documents, contract signed, receipt books, working hour log, etc. There is no action. The American authorities simply say, forget it. We can't help you. And after that, when this lady is going to drop her children in school, they pick her up like she's a nobody, take her and they strip search her. Do you know, Sarosh, what a strip search and a cavity search are? I don't want to get into details of that, but I think it's abominable behavior by the Americans to be allowed to do that.
Yeah.
May I come in, please?
Yes, Tahmina.
I do think for your viewers, it's important to understand.
We must make a complaint and the proceedings must be taken against the girl.
Exactly. There are people who will exploit the law, but the laws of this country must be abided by.
Why does Tahmina, the diplomat is a victim. The diplomat is a victim of the diplomat, Tahmina, is a...
In this situation, it would be argued likely that Devyani's actions were outside the scope of her duty.
No, 1 second. Now I'm going to open... now I think we've nicely opened up the debate. Tahmina, Pavan Verma, what do you think? Pavan, from what it appears to me, the lady diplomat, Tahmina,
I don't know. But
Tahmina, let me tell you this. First of all, Tahmina, let me tell you this. First, and I'm going now opening up the debate to our participants from India. The question is, the lady diplomat is therefore a victim of extortion. She's a victim of blackmail. Then she's the victim of racist abuse, abject humiliation, indignity thrown upon her in a manner that no civilized country would allow. And after that, I'm sorry to say, an arrogant America thinks it can get away by doing nothing. It wouldn't dare to do this with China, Germany, the United Kingdom, or any other country. And it's time it's taught a lesson. Pavan Verma, what do you take the... Ray?
Hold on.
Why do you want me to hold on? Pavan is coming in. Pavan.
Well, you know, the fact...
Employer.
The sad fact is the United States and New York law enforcement has done this with people from other countries.
One second.
Is the question directed to me?
Yes, Pavan.
Arnab, this particular incident involving Devyani clearly shows the arrogance of power. It is not about the legalese of the Vienna Convention. It is not even so much about the minutiae of what happened with the domestic staff. It is about unacceptably uncivilized behavior against a senior envoy of a friendly country. And let me add, the laws that are being cited by your other panelists, they are completely arbitrary, unwarranted, condescending, intrusive intrusions into affairs which should be the domain of the sending country and the envoy. It has become increasingly a practice in America and across many countries in Europe to begin to impose on domestic staff which has traveled with an official passport and is part of the overall facilities of an envoy an impossible standard of remuneration and other kinds
absolutely,
of
and so well said. Yeah.
I respectfully disagree. You know,
so
1 second. On what point do you disagree? 1 second.
In this particular case, in this
country.
No, 1 second, Tahmina. Tahmina, can I tell you something? No, 1 second. Tahmina, first of all, can you just let Pavan Verma complete, please? Because I can take you on point by point on the subhuman manner in which the American government allows its diplomats to treat their domestic staff. Subhuman manner. And I will show facts to you, Tahmina, which will make you take back your position today. American diplomats are the world's #1 experts in treating their domestic help all across the world worse than, slaves were treated in your own country till just 4 decades back. Don't let me remind you of how America treated slaves for centuries. But I'll tell you today, the modern day slaves are those who work in American diplomats' households across the world. And these are American government documents. Yes, Pavan Verma, please complete.
Then we must expose
No,
that.
and I want to make a third point, Arnab, which should be discussed on your channel. The American viewpoint on this matter is a very one-sided worldview when it comes to the treatment of those who may not even be directly diplomats but associated with the embassy, as in the case of Raymond Davis. They invoke exactly the same provisions and the legalese of the Vienna Convention. And in this particular case, for an envoy to be, as you yourself mentioned, to be handcuffed, to be strip searched, to be cavity searched, it is also because for too long now the government of India has either condoned or ignored gratuitous insults against people who should be covered by diplomatic privilege.
No, I'll tell you.
About people like the ex-president of India,
time to share a few
ministers, ambassadors serving in the US.